been growing my beard out.
I've noticed.
Yeah.
How do you feel about the gray in the chin? Because that's exactly where mine's coming in. No, seriously. As like 4 or 5 years ago,
Yeah.
I'm going to be 38 in a couple months. And probably, I don't know, it wasn't when I turned 30, but in recent years, so early 30s probably, my chin, specifically just my chin, comes in total gray now. So as you can see, no beard. So I was wondering how you feel about that. You embrace it. It looks good.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I haven't been clean shaven since June 2006. So, I mean, I've like buzzed it down real low. Like if I like grow my mustache out or something real big.
Yeah.
And then I'll not like shave, but I'll like buzz my face. But, I mean, I've had a beard since then. So I wish it was more. Like I wish my entire beard was gray.
Gray. Yeah.
And it's getting there because like it started, there was like a little patch of like white, and then it was overnight, like boom, just my whole chin. And I don't know, I don't love it, but I like that it's not just brown, boring, you know?
Yeah. I used to always wish mine was brown. See, I've got brown hair, but my dad's not quite a redhead. It's like light brown.
Like a strawberry
and
brown
his,
or something. I don't know.
Well, his facial hair is red, like red. And that's, if I grow my beard long enough, it's red. And so I haven't actually grown like a full blown, I've gone almost a year to see like what I could grow in a year.
Grow it out, bro.
No, dude, I can't embrace that gray chin. I
mean, like your facial hair, like it's like structured well. It looks good.
I grow a mustache like every other year, maybe.
I like it. You should try a beard though.
I don't know.
Because even when you do the scruff, like it works.
Yeah, that's about as far as I go.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe. 10 years ago, I was really feeling beards. Like mid-20s, I'd grow one every other year, maybe. I'd let it go for like 6 months, maybe.
Yeah.
And I'd trim it, keep it dialed in, but like just let it. I tried to go for a year.
Yeah.
But my mistake was
What do you mean go for a year? Like not
shape
touch
it, but don't trim it down. Like shape it so it doesn't look like I'm homeless, but keep it growing.
Yeah.
See how much of a beard I could grow in a year, right? Because I'd never gone a full year before. So I wanted to know just like how big can my beard get in a year? With
a long time.
And my problem is I started in like August or September. Oh, yeah. So by the time June came around the next year, I'm almost at a year, and it got mega hot out. I couldn't handle it anymore. I should have started in January. So it was like winter as I'm coming up on a year, and it was like helping, you know? So I freaked out in June. I got first 95-degree day or whatever. I cut the thing off.
Yeah, this is like, what month is it now? January?
Yeah.
I mean, I like just a day or two ago, or I guess like 2 or 3 days ago, I trimmed the sides and just kind of shaped it up.
Yeah.
But it's like, I mean, this is 2 months of growth, maybe. Like if I shaved my face, I would get to this in less than 3 months.
Yeah.
But it's just real thick and dense. And I've always wanted to have like a big, annoying beard.
Yeah.
Because they're just so cool. And I know that would be so annoying to have and
right.
keep and stuff.
To deal with, yeah.
But my facial hair is so like coarse that I've like it's like hard. Like it's
right,
like heavy.
right.
So I have to like clean it and condition it and do all the stuff to it like every day. And,
at least it looks like whatever you do to it though, at least it looks like natural. Because you see guys that like oil it and stuff, and it's like shining and it's like it glistens and it's like, ugh, like what is that all about?
I'm not pretty enough for that.
Yeah, but it's just like I don't know. Maybe it's just me. It doesn't look natural. I'm like, what is it?
I try to go more natural looking.
I like mustaches more than a full beard. As for on me, I've always been envious of your mustache because it's like
it's impressive.
Yeah, it really is. To be honest,
it's real short right now, but like
mine takes forever.
It wasn't that long ago. It was almost every summer. I don't know why I do this in the summertime, but I'll grow it out. Like I'll grow my beard out for like a month, and I'll just shave my beard off, and then I'll grow my mustache out for like 2, 3, 4 months. And then just barely trim up a little bit.
Right. Covers the mouth.
But I mean, it's hefty.
Yeah.
It sucks because it's just in my mouth.
I know.
That's constantly.
Anyone who knows me knows that 2012, I think, 2012 and 13, I grew my mustache Sam Elliott style. Like just straight down. It covered both lips. And I'd chew on it when I'd eat food and pull.
Oh, yeah.
I'd like chew on it and pull hairs out.
Yeah.
And it was, I mean, I liked the look, but it was a struggle to live with. I hated it.
Get caught in my like phone case, in between my phone and phone case, and like pull out of my lip. Oh, dude, it hurt. But yeah.
Wait, but you've got your phone at your mouth.
Well, yeah, like this.
Oh yeah. No, like
because
catches.
I mean, when I grow my mustache out, it's like,
yep, yeah, I forgot.
like it takes up a lot of real estate.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
it's
That's what I was always envious of. The first time I grew, like I grew my beard out for like months. It felt like, and then shaved everything and left just the mustache. I tried to do the handlebar. I tried, and there's some photos out there I've got of it like out, but it was like you could tell I was trying. Not quite waxed tip, but I wanted like Kurt Russell, Christoph Waltz. You know, like Christoph Waltz from Django. You know, like just like you can.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just the whole thing. It's like parted in the middle, but still covers the mouth. Like,
well, and that's what I like. I don't put stuff in it really. I don't do like a paste or anything.
Right.
But I would just try to like shape it, and it
to
would just kind of like stay there.
Yeah,
like almost muscle memory and whatever. I'd kind of comb it in the morning or something. But
well, welcome back to an episode of Mustache Aficionados.
Yep. Today we're talking about facial hair. It's gonna be real gross
and going gray because I can't. I can't. I don't. It's not. It's not a symbol of getting older. It's just I wish I always since I was in high school and I started to be able to grow facial hair.
Yeah.
I always wished I could grow like a beard the same color as my hair. It always came in red, so it was like brown hair, red, and
that's so cool.
I know. See, that's all my friends are like, "That's rad." I'm like, I don't like it. And now that it's like red, gray, and brown, I'm just not feeling it.
So when I was a senior in high school, I didn't really hit the like. I got a little bit of mustache, or I got a patchy beard. It was like I can grow nothing. I got like a baby face, and then boom.
Miracle
It was crazy. I was actually in this like car accident, and like all this stuff happened. I had like a brain injury and everything.
Did we talk about that on any of the previous episodes?
I don't know. I don't know if we should dive down that rabbit hole, but it was a big deal.
Car accident, you died.
It was real bad.
You were flatlined.
Yeah.
Straight up flatlined.
I have a titanium eye socket, and but anyway, I got out of like the hospital and all my rehab and all this stuff, and I had a beard. And I was like, okay, I'm a man now. And it was so cool because a friend of mine at the time said it was like a calico cat. And it was the first time I'd ever heard that like term because it was like different colors and it was like different shades. I didn't have gray in it.
Yeah.
But it was just like blonde and brown and then like black and then like really, really almost like clear blonde. And it was like layers. It was really cool to me. And
did it start growing the most after the accident?
I mean, that was right whenever I could start growing facial hair.
Maybe it just so happened to be around the same time that
I was like 17.
I didn't know if that trauma for some reason.
Nah,
like all of a sudden
it was just the timing thing, I guess. Yeah.
Did you? I've known you forever. It seems like, and I don't think I've ever asked you this. Did you have any sort of like out of body experience that you can remember when you flatlined?
No. It was
just darkness.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
or just woke up.
Well, so I actually had like a minor brain injury from it. So it was full head injury, and I had facial reconstruction and some stuff. But what was I saying? So I had severe short-term memory loss. So from the night before the accident till about, I don't know, 3 months later, I remember nothing.
Yeah.
And even during that time and like rehab and stuff, when I got I was in a coma and I was in the hospital and had surgery and all this stuff. But once I got home and I was in rehab, I couldn't remember anything. So, but it wasn't, how do I explain this? I couldn't remember anything short-term wise. So like I could walk into a room and like, I don't know, pour a drink or whatever, and then like sit it down and then turn around and put like whatever the water pitcher up and then turn around and be like, what was I doing?
Yeah.
Or like, why am I in this room?
It's crazy that it was that short.
It was, yeah. But for real examples, because that was just made up example, but a real example is because of the head injury, I would like watch movies because physically I couldn't do a whole lot for a while. So I would watch like, I really like movies, but I would watch a movie, and then at the end of, this was 2007. So at the end of the DVD, I would get up and I would like open up the DVD disc drawer or whatever, and then pull it out, and I was going to, replace it with something else.
Put it back
and
in.
then I would be like, I know that I'm taking this out of the DVD player, but I do not remember seeing this.
Wow.
And then I would put it back in, and I would do that over and over and over.
Wow.
For like weeks.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Do you remember what DVD that was?
Sucked. Yeah.
Do you remember what movie that was?
There were a few. Alexander, like Alexander the Great or something like that.
Like a cinematic film about him?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And I can't remember what it was.
It wasn't Troy, was it?
No, it was it was like Alexander, something like that.
I mean, I'm a cinephile too, so I guess I don't remember that film.
And there's a kid movie, Tom Hanks with the Christmas train thing. That movie.
Oh,
yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
I do.
Hot Below. Type it in.
It's not something Express. Polar Express?
Yeah, Polar Express.
That's
it.
Okay.
That, and then a few others, but
07. What was I watching in 07? Because I'm like movie nerd, just through and through. And I know now that we're both in Chattanooga, well, you've been here, but now that I'm in Chattanooga, we should probably start maybe once a month doing a movie episode.
That'd be fun.
Well, okay. So here's actually sidetrack real quick.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about this a lot. So guys like Rogan do fight companions. So what they'll do is they'll be him and 3 other friends that were ex-UFC fighters, and there'll be a UFC fight pay-per-view going on, right? So they can't play the fight, but if you're home and you want to watch the fight, but you also want to watch it with some funny dudes that know about fighting, they'll time it up and they'll have the round counter on the screen, and they'll time it up all right, first round starting in now, and people will watch to screen it basically, and I'm not that into fighting, but I've watched a few and it's oh man, if I was really into fighting and I was watching the fight on one screen, this would be awesome. Cause they're but then they'll tangent. They'll start talking about cars. And next thing you know, they're talking about Brendan Schwab's GT2 RS that he's building. And it's but then they'll come back around to the fight cause if somebody gets so recently I've been thinking about doing that with movies, a movie companion. To be all right, we're starting a movie in 3, 2, 1, and dissect Quentin Tarantino films or something.
That'd be fun.
And watch Reservoir Dogs, which I could talk to you scene by scene through The Hateful Eight, Django, Pulp Fiction, Reservoir Dogs, and watch the film in here in the studio, but time everybody up with it and just talk about or just choose any movie, Inception, whatever movie, and maybe do a week's worth of research going up to it, so you got some cool behind the scenes kind of tidbits. But anyway,
I'd be into that.
Yeah, I'd love doing that. I mean, for goodness sake, if no one else will do it, I'll do it alone and just sit here all alone and watch a movie and talk about it. But I was trying to think of what I was watching in 07.
Call it date night with John.
Yeah, right. Movie night.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of 07. What? Man, I don't know. 2012 is easy because Prometheus came out, and I went opening night to go see Prometheus. That was
I watched that when it came out.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
But yeah, I've been thinking about that, more movie stuff. Everything's all streaming platform now, and I've just recently hooked my DVD player back up and have been for the first time since I moved here. So it's been a year and a half. I haven't watched any of my DVDs. So I've started watching more DVDs, and I kind of miss it because it's I put a movie in that's one of my favorites that I haven't seen in a while, and you're kind of excited about it.
Yeah, and because with streaming, it's Carly and I, we're always okay, well, what haven't we seen yet, or what's new, or what, whatever. It's so rare that we're well, let's rewatch that because it was really good. Yeah, exactly. But we've been doing that more and more often here lately. I don't know how to describe it, but for me, it's always been I'll be in a certain mood, and I'll be I this mood correlates with this movie. I want to watch this movie. Even if it's at night after dinner or something, I'll be yeah, I want to watch that. It's kind of a cool feeling where it's you know the movie, so you can the character development, the thriller aspect of it, and you can either be nah, I'm not feeling that right now. Yeah. And then it's kind of cool, but because I'm way more in depth with movies than I am than most people, I guess. Yeah. No, I thoroughly enjoy getting into a movie, and honestly, I mean, I feel a lot of people do, but I more so now than I thought I would really like to get into deep thought-provoking miniseries, a 10 episode or an 8 episode that shot really, really well, movie quality type stuff. But then it's, an 8 or 10 hour long, whatever type of movie. It turns in, it's an episodic movie almost. Oh man, I love that. Yeah. Because it's watching sequels that are just literally back to back. The first one I saw like that was John Bernthal's The Punisher.
Did you watch that on Netflix with John Bernthal? How insane! So, and this is not a movie episode, but to talk about that real quick.
Yeah.
So I love John Bernthal. I think most of us saw him for the first time on the first season of Walking Dead, because he was like the deputy, and that was like kind of where he got his start. But The Punisher, I think I'd only seen him in like a couple things. I think maybe Wolf of Wall Street came out before The Punisher, so I might have seen him in that.
Really? What did it come out before The Punisher?
2015, I think. So anyway, so all the movies of The Punisher. What's his name? Aaron Eckhart. No. What's the guy with the chinny chin?
Oh, I'm the worst with names.
So he played the Punisher, but all the DC comic or Marvel studio,
that guy. I know who you're talking about.
All those movies
Yeah.
were like PG-13, right? So they were like violent vengeance movies, but they were PG-13 violent vengeance, right? Yeah. So here comes John Bernthal as the Punisher in an R-rated 13-hour, 13-episode Netflix like movie. So, but it's 13-hour movie basically. So every episode picks up where the last one left off, like scene for scene, basically. That was the first time I think that wasn't like the first of its kind probably, but that's the first one that I watched that was like that, where it was like a 13-hour movie and you could easily get sucked into watching like 4 in a row. And all of a sudden you're 4 hours in and you're like, I can't put this down because there's no, normally episodes have a conclusion, but a hanger. So you're like, ooh, can't wait for the next episode. But that episode has its own journey as a movie would, where it's like there's a conclusion in a way, you know, it makes you feel good, and then there's a hanger. But that film was like the first R-rated one. I think that like any comic book, like I know Deadpool got kind of crazy, but the Punisher
is like a different flavor.
This was R-rated. Like these guys murdered his wife and kid, and when he catches them, he is like torturing them. It's insane.
Yeah.
But anyway, so
one of the ones for me that really kicked that off, like got me into more deeper, thought-provoking ones, was Mind Hunters.
Yes, I started it, didn't finish it.
Incredible.
Yep.
Well, I mean, honestly, even before that, like years before that, like True Detective.
Yep.
And
Mindhunter was good.
Manhunt was also good. About Unabomber.
Yes, I didn't start that one.
Oh, it's good.
But
that's this first season. The second season's garbage.
But it's dramatized.
Yeah.
Like scripted.
Yeah.
So Mindhunter. I can't remember their names, but there's a couple actors that I really liked that are in that. And I liked how
so good.
I liked how it was like the birth of psycho criminal
serial killers.
Yeah, but
they
like
coined the term or whatever.
Yes,
or they were the, I don't know.
And the dissection of psycho detective work, basically, like understanding how someone like that might operate or how they might behave, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah.
So I didn't get through that one, but
it's good. You should try it again.
Yeah, I didn't get out of it because I was bored. I think I just like
busy.
I traveled a bit, and then when I got back, it was like back in the shop, and I just I never just never picked it back up again.
I've rewatched it a few times.
Yeah,
it's just so good.
I think where I left off, I think Manson was entering the plot. I think it was about the something like that. But we ought to talk about that. We ought to do like a movie one. And just try it out and see, because if that takes off and people tend to like it, and we had a really good time doing it,
fun.
I'll put a TV up in the corner over there, and because anyone who knows me, especially my girlfriend, knows that like do not like I'm insufferable if I'm watching a Quentin Tarantino film, because I am holding the leash tight of like speaking along with the script. Like I am like I'm all about it, and I can't help myself. It's like you're in the moment, and it's like
it's fun though. Like last time we talked about music, and that was awesome. But I've spent many hours in a vehicle with you listening to music, and you're like talking the whole time and like singing along with it and like describing it, and like
the drum part coming up.
Yeah, every drum piece and every like vocal and like. This vocalist was from this year, and that
and the tuning they're using.
Yeah, and it's like, and you don't get to listen to it at all. But
no, you
it's
don't.
So it's an experience, and I mean, like I appreciate those experiences, and from that, I mean, you've introduced me to like bands that I love now.
That's awesome.
And I've had to go back and listen to them.
Yes, because you can't listen.
Yeah, when you're away from me, but
when I'm not in the car.
But no, I mean like, but that's cool because I'm getting a different perspective because some of those bands I've listened to before and I was like, nah, whatever.
Right.
But then I get like a little more like
the context.
You give me the context, you give me some info, and I'm like okay, I'm bought in now.
Yeah,
it's cool. I enjoy that.
Well, I'm glad you enjoy it because like I know, and Corey has done miles with me too, and like and I'll pause a movie or pause a song all the time because I'm like the thought's on the tip of my tongue or it's right there and I'm like I'll pause it so the part doesn't go by, especially if it's in like a movie and be like, do you know that he did this or that in that other piece, or he was in that band that did this or whatever, and then you play it again and now you've disrupted the whole flow of the song. I know. That's why I think about those companion episodes where I'm like, that's a perfect opportunity to do that in.
Yeah.
You know, where you can just like rant about stuff. It's almost like when a director does a director commentary, which I used to hate. I was like, why am I going to watch this movie with someone talking over it? And then I started watching like Steven Spielberg, Christopher Nolan, notably Nolan. I mean, just him and his brother are masterminds. But listening to them talk about the thought process. I don't know if I've watched one about Memento, but Guy Pearce in Memento. Did you ever see Memento?
Yeah.
So Christopher Nolan and his brother wrote that movie on a cross country trip. Like they were driving cross country and they're like, what about like this guy that like had this head trauma and then he can't make new memories. All he knows is that his wife was murdered and like, and listening to him talk over that film is the most incredible thing ever because they're talking about like the thought process of like, oh, what if this happens and that happens? But what if he can't remember that? So he's getting stuff tattooed on his body. So he wakes up and always remembers. Like it's like a storyboard that he can't wash off. And then, we thought about Guy Pearce, but we really wanted this guy first. And like, I freak out about that stuff. I love it. So sorry about if any of you have ever been in the car with me or watched a movie with me, I totally get that I'm insufferable about it. So this is the outlet. This is why I'm doing this.
Yeah. So, we should talk about movies one time, even though we've been doing it for however many minutes.
I know. You were like, last night, you're like, so what do you want to talk about? And I'm like, I literally don't care. Because I knew we were going to get onto something.
Well, it's fun. It's just fun kind of spitballing with it.
But did want to talk about Riverside, obviously, because that's coming up. As you said before we even hit play on this, is that you feel like you're a month behind, which is stressful, I'm sure. But we've talked about Riverside. We've done actually the first episode I had you on was when I was down here for Riverside a few years ago. So number 8.
Yeah.
Once this one's gone by, you've got one more before the 10th anniversary. That's wild.
Yeah.
And talk about that for a second because the Can I Beat boys called it quits at 10. So it's kind of crazy to think that in 3 more Riversides, you've almost got like a longer legacy of the show. Than a show like First Class Fitment, which is kind of crazy that you've been doing it that long, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it flew by. It feels like we just had like year 4.
Yep.
And then it was just stacked up real fast. But I mean, like 2020, because that was Riverside 5, and it was March 20th, and it got canceled the day before.
I was here for that.
Yeah, it was fun. And I was like, this might close the doors. You know what I mean? Like, this is a big deal.
Nobody knew. Right?
Yeah, this was March 2020. Yep. Nobody knew what was happening.
Like, we're all gonna die in 2 months.
There was exactly one like confirmed case of COVID in Chattanooga. That weekend.
Right.
And the whole city shut down.
Yep.
And we were shut down. I don't know, less than 24 hours before
12
the show
hours
started.
before. Yeah. It was like hours before the pre-meet.
Yeah. Thousands of people were in town already. Tons of our vendors were already in town or on the way from out of state. It sucked. But we ended up making the best of it. We had a great weekend. We did that pop-up shop, which
Parking lot
show. So we just did it at the Bitter Alibi. I hit up Jason and was just like, hey man, we've got like merchandise, we got people, like we want to support local business. Can we just like come hang out and set up a table in your he's got a restaurant called the Bitter Alibi in a bar and the Fix is upstairs. It's a really, really cool place. But we set up on like the ground level inside, but it did one just fold out table with a tablecloth.
It's really cool.
And I sold the event t-shirt and event sticker, and that was it.
Yeah.
And you set up too. You
right
used
next to
the
you.
corner on our table or whatever, brought some stuff in as well. And we just told people, like, we put a video out like, hey, come come say what's up. We're here already. Yep. Like we're hanging out,
making the best of it.
Great food, great beers here. Let's have a good weekend, y'all. It's perfect weather.
Yeah.
Let's cruise around town, do pop-up meets for the weekend. Let's do something. And man, people showed up. So many people were there. The whole block. There's like 2 big parking lots behind that building, and they filled up. The street filled up. The street across the road was closed for construction, and it filled up.
Parked in that. Yeah,
it was so much fun. The news came. Everybody was cool. Everybody was having a great time. It was a lot of fun. Yeah. And then we were able to reschedule for October of 2020. And again, nobody knew what was going on, so we had rescheduled.
I mean, I made the haul down from New Hampshire.
Yeah, and it was honestly like an incredible event.
It was,
and and I feel like that event really kind of kicked us into kind of that like whatever level we had moved into at that point.
Yep.
And so it felt like we had to that year, but even though we just called that like Riverside 5, like V2,
right?
But like a cool little Easter egg thing I like to talk about is I was wearing the shirt yesterday, the Riverside 5 shirt, but the Riverside 5 design, the event shirt was like a postcard, like a wish you were here kind of style.
Yeah.
And then the front of it is like a stamp, like stamped onto like a letter.
Yeah.
And it had
post stamp.
Like a post stamp, and it had like a date and on it, and March 20th or whatever it was. And then so I had just thousands of these t-shirts that were now stamped wrong.
Right.
And it just happened to work out so well that the idea was, or what had worked out to fix that was, I just gave those shirts back to our printer, and he made another stamp, like kind of logo with the October date on it in a different color, and then stamped over it, kind of like almost mixed match, like kind of poorly stamped over.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah. So if you look at the shirt, there's like a pink one that says March on it, and then there's a purple one over it that's October, awesome. And it's just like overlaid.
Yeah,
it's really cool.
I had no idea you guys. So it was Hunter who did that. Thing,
yeah,
right?
yeah, CWG local printer.
I had no idea.
Yeah, and it's the I don't know how we were able to pull that off, but it worked.
Dang, that's awesome.
And
I bet worst case scenario, you could have sold those as the adventure, but that's awesome that worked out.
Yeah,
did the front.
It was cool. It fit the theme, and it's so neat. Whenever every once in a while, I'll see somebody with one that just has the pink stamp on it, the March one.
They bought it in March,
and they bought it in March.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, because we sold a ton of them.
I wonder if I've got one of each. I know I've got one of them. Now I can't remember what color.
I would assume you probably got just the first one.
Probably.
You probably got the pink one. Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah,
that's
I don't know how many of those we sold because we got a ton of them like reprinted.
Right. Well, I mean, going into the show, it was 2000. Like I felt the same way about like what I want to do with my, I guess, career, if you call it that, in automotive. Like 2020, I'm like, like I don't care about like the New Year resolutions, but it was like, 2020, like let's go. This is this is going to be a big year, you know. And so you had a lot of merch and a lot of stuff planned for the show, and it's really cool because we've just kind of always talked about, or kind of not fantasized about, like it being a fall show, how good the weather is here and whatnot, but the complications or contradicting schedules of having the pavilion in the fall. So being able to slide in for that event was like such a cool like recoup of the first one in March, you know, because now it was in the fall, it was great weather, same location. It's not like you had to like settle with like some like parking lot or something.
Yeah, I didn't want to move it. It wouldn't be the same.
Has it been in the pavilion since year one?
Year one.
I couldn't remember if the first year you did it somewhere else.
No, same place.
That's awesome. That's cool. So 8 years, 9 technical gatherings. Oh no, I guess it is still 8 gatherings.
Yeah, I mean, because we didn't do it in March.
That's right.
We just did that pop-up shop.
That's right.
At Bitter, and then.
So I'm trying. I'm trying to like. I've already talked to you about this, but as like a LUDWICK'S garage plug, like I'm trying to like show up with more than I've ever shown up before.
Like LUDWICK'S garage, or
LUDWICK'S garage.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, because I mean I told you I want to go from my 10x10 setup to a 10x20. I want to have like a walk-in kind of store feel. I got to be ordering that stuff right now, and I'm trying to build that dang auto union. But so anyway, and I don't know if that car will even be. I know you were like, dude, just roll it in if it's rollable. Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see. But
we'll just like C-clamp the body to the frame.
Yeah.
Or the frame, the
chassis,
pan, and then well, I'll push it in with you. I don't care. It's just cool.
Yeah, we'll see. But
kind of to answer what you were talking about, like I don't know. I don't know. Like 8's coming up, and I mean, I'm not stopping anytime soon. I don't have like a set day like this year is the last year or whatever. But I'm also not gonna like lie to myself. Like I know that like events like this have a shelf life.
Yeah.
And this event is strictly for kind of the community, the culture and stuff. So like I will never let it go beyond what it needs to go.
Right.
And it's just if it's not progressing, it's going backwards. And I'm busy. I got other stuff I can do. Like
right.
and Riverside deserves to be like to leave on a good note is what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
And I like the idea of when I know what year it's going to be. Like if it's going to be 10 or 11 or 12 or whatever, like I'm going to go all out.
Right.
It's going to be known.
Absolutely.
Like, this is the last one. Like this is, but,
think about the people that would come on. See, I think about that a lot. It's like, cause the last First Class Fitment, it was like, this is the last one.
Yeah.
And it's like, holy cow. I mean, the boys from Texas came on a double decker or the RX-7s and stuff. Like, I mean, I'm pretty sure that was the last year, but it seemed like people made more of an effort to come from places unknown, parts unknown, to like, to be like, oh, it's now or never. And I still have friends who talk to this day. Same thing with kind of like the Ocean City whole thing where they're like, man, I never got a chance to. You see like an old show coverage video and they're like, man, like if only I had made like the 20-hour drive or whatever, So I imagine if there's like, if Riverside, if the show itself ends on your terms and if you're like, this is it. I mean, think of the people that'll load up the trailer. And
I hope so.
You run out of space.
I mean, y'all can come this time.
That too. Yeah, that too.
But I don't know. But I mean, we're also like actively working on expanding and like having, I don't want to say more than one event because it's, but I guess it is kind of more than one event. So so whenever Carly and Evie and I move, we're going to do another Riverside in another part of the country, and then. But Riverside Chattanooga spring meet will still be in Riverside, or will still be in Chattanooga, Tennessee in the springtime, the same location, and until it needs to not be
right.
And then, but I want to have more events, but I'm not going to do like a tour. I don't know. It's just I like that stuff, but it's just not for me.
Right. I get it.
Yeah.
We were just talking about that too before we recorded. It was like I've always thought about. I've done the pop-up meets all over the country, literally. Almost every city in the country seems like they've done a pop-up meet in while driving through it. So the idea of having like a traveling, like more than a pop-up meet, but more of like a pop-up show is awesome because you get a chance to like have a different group of cars everywhere you go. But logistically, it's just like so much work.
Yeah.
So, but that's pretty cool that like that it's become a Chattanooga thing, for right now.
Yeah. I mean,
awesome.
I want to make sure that Chattanooga benefits from it and grows from it, and I feel like we're working on that.
I mean, I've talked about it. I mean, I think it was I flew down for 1, drove down for 3, I think.
Yeah.
And then was here for 1. Was living here for 1. So I think Riverside 3 might have been the first one I attended. I can't remember.
3 was 2018. It was kind of rainy that day.
I came down 2017.
17 was in April, and it was the first time we did it in April.
Yeah. 17.
It was beautiful.
It was 16 or 17?
16 was year 1.
Okay, so it was 17 because it was second year, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, 17 was cool. 17 was a lot of fun.
Yeah. Yeah, we all stayed in your apartment. I've got that photo of DeHate, Robles, me, you. Like, it was like the whole crew in the kitchen there. Yeah, that was a fun year. Well, I'm excited, man. I too have a lot to get done. Just on the brand side of things, my setup, merchandise. I mean, I've got sweatshirts coming now, but I'm hoping they're sold out like within the week I get them in to then help fund more stuff to get done in time. So,
I'm so far behind.
I bet.
I don't have merchandise. Like I mean, I have some, but I need like
Riverside 8
way
stuff.
more. Yeah, I don't have any Riverside 8 stuff yet. And
you usually sell clean out, right?
No. I mean, not really.
Did last year? I feel like one of the years you were like, yeah, we're out.
Well, we sell out of like some things.
The posters did well last year, right? So all the posters.
Yeah, we had 100 of them, and I think I have like 7 or 8 left.
Wow.
But I mean, probably 10 of them I sold since then.
Yep.
I mean, the other night I sold 2.
Yep.
So
I still have more of mine because Dustin did both of ours.
yeah.
Actually, the one behind me, if you're watching on YouTube, this is one hand screen printed.
Yeah, it's so cool.
And we did 50. And to be honest, I only sold like, I think even up till now, like a little over half. So I still have at least 20 left. But I really kind of want to do another run, but maybe a lower number, but like a whole different one, different
like
colors.
25 or something.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going to do one every year.
Yeah, I want to as well.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, like financially speaking, like this didn't work. Like the Patina Paradise shirt, which I felt would have done, I mean, for goodness sake, I mean.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to buy another one just for myself. But like, but I love movie posters.
Yeah.
That's like my, going right back to the movie love. So I want to do one a year anyway, just so I can start collecting my own ones for each year. But yeah, I remember you saying that they did real well, which is awesome.
Yeah. And honestly, I mean, a big part of it just comes down to the way our like booth is displayed. It's a little overwhelming because we don't know how yet to really properly display all of the merchandise items to every customer.
Right.
So like this year, I'm pretty excited about it, but I'm also still nervous about it because I don't know what I'm doing. But like trying to make more of a store environment that you like kind of walk into and you see merchandise on displays and stands and things, and it's like labeled so that you'll be able to walk around and see stuff.
Yeah.
You won't be able to get it and then bring it to the counter, but you'll be able to see like, these are all the t-shirts. This is the event specific stuff. This is like I don't know, the not bulk items, the what's it called? Like when you do like a
point of
shirt,
sale.
a sticker.
Bundle.
Yeah, like a bundle.
Yeah,
These are the bundle items or whatever.
Right.
And then as a customer, you go up to the cash wrap and then you're like, I want, like ordering food. You know what I mean? It's like, I want this and that size and this and that size, and then these 3 stickers or whatever. Yeah. And then we take care of it for you. And that's something I've always wanted to do. And it looked good.
Yeah, good walk-in, like mobile store.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm hoping, man, I'm like, we're on the same page as far as that's concerned. Cause I'm like, I'm still so green at like vending shows. I have no idea what to expect for. So yeah, I mean, so I'm like, I want that set up too. And it's like, I just got to pull the trigger. It's like, I just got to do it. And so I think it's funny that we're both kind of on the same page as far as that's concerned, where it's like, I've always wanted, I keep talking about them. My buddies Adam and James, ILB, they have like the coolest walk-in shop.
Oh yeah. It doesn't get any better.
Creme de la creme though. The bagged bus. Have you ever seen that setup?
The bagged bus.
Oh my gosh. So they're from, what am I drawing a blank here? Finland. Finland. So they've got a bagged transit bus, like your municipal public transportation bus, right? Comes to the bus stop, airs down. So they have one of those, like full, like folding door at the front where the driver is, and folding door halfway down in the back, right? Or all the way in the back. They bagged one, right? So they bought one, bagged it, painted it black, made a walk-in, like enter this door, exit that door, walk-in store.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
Sign me up.
And there's a spiral staircase at the back, and they built a platform on the whole roof with tables and umbrellas, and it's like a lounge up top. I'm like, that's
so cool.
Like, I need to build one. I want to build one so bad. That's like the coolest.
Yeah.
You arrive in your store basically. But
yeah.
But anyway, cool. We're gonna start somewhere. So 10 by 20 sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
10 by 20.
Well,
10.
I mean, and there's so many cool ways to do that. Like I now have, and maybe this can help you or something, or we can bounce ideas back and forth whenever. But like I now have a vision from when we drove up to Philly to vend and at Tuner Evo.
R.I.P. us.
Yeah, seriously. Dustin and I were talking back and forth about like booth setups for when we vend at shows. Because Dustin helped me and he worked my booth that day, but he owns Okie Doke brand, has like the coolest merch. He also designs like 90% of Riverside's stuff.
He's got a great eye.
Yeah, he's incredible.
Yeah,
super talented. But anyway, he did this. He did the posters.
Yes.
I designed them, hand screen printed them, everything. And but anyway, when we were there, I was like, it kind of clicked with me. Like when I go vend at a show, someone else's show, I'm going to take my 10 by 20. And part of this, a big part of this I took from like dubcore back in the day and Matt Phillips Lower Lifestyle when he was doing a 10x20 before he got his trailer, and it's where 10x10 of it is kind of like a little store you walk into.
Exactly.
Have like a rug and like stuff on display and whatnot, and then the other 10x10 is like two tables at a corner, and then that's where kind of all of our stuff is. So that we can get that for the customers.
That's it.
And it's so cool, and you can make it like unique and nice and stuff, but have the ability to be able to, as a customer, walk into a booth or walk into your store and like be in that environment, and then your store kind of bleed out. Like that is really important. Everybody's booth looks the same. And that's something we look at. We look at that whenever we have registrations coming in for Riverside. It's like, what's your booth look like?
Right.
Well, let's see what you look like at other shows. Like, how much effort do you put into your thing? Is it just the same stuff over and over again? And that's just one part of it. It's one piece of a big old puzzle, but but it's important, and it shows vision. And, and then, I talk about it all the time, but Zach Addington, Misguided Media, I walked by his booth setup. The first time he ever vended at a show was at a Riverside a few years ago. And I walked by his booth and was just like dumbfounded. He's got like rugs and fake plants and things on display. And he's got this cool idea with this like TV he's going to do at Riverside 8, and it's going to be sick. You got to go look at it. And like, he has like his own posters that he's a photographer, and he like makes his own posters of like, shoots he's done, but it looks like it's out of, I don't know, like he bought it on like, Japanese auction and framed it. And like he did it. It's so sick. And
that's awesome.
And from there I was like, okay, Riverside's booth has totally changed.
But and I source inspiration from every time I'm at a show. Like, I'm there to see my friends, see cars, but now that I've been entering the vendor space too, I'm looking at everybody's setup. I mean, I'm online looking at people's setups. Like, I'll go to some brand on Instagram onto their page, and then I'll click on the photo stream that they're, their photos that they're tagged in, just to look for their like booth setups and stuff, just to gain inspiration. I do a lot of that with like Japanese car vendors at Japanese shows and stuff to like see like how they're setting stuff up. So I'm really jazzed up. It's April 17th? 15th.
Yep. April 15th.
We'll plug it again at the end of the episode so everybody knows. It's coming up fast. This alone, just this conversation's like getting me far more motivated to like start getting the wheels in motion now, because I know it's going to be here. It's going to be mid-March. I'm going to be like, oh, I don't have time to do anything. Because I'm like, oh, I'm going to wait for a few more jobs to come in, because I've got so many things to like purchase for the shop for the car project, and I'm like, oh, I'll wait till a few other things go by and then I'll order shirts. And I'm like, no, I need to order shirts now. Like, things need to happen now. So I'm excited though, and to be honest, you've kind of inadvertently kept me motivated on that, because it's so much work, and financially as of right now, I don't think like it might pay for itself or might bring in some profit, but so far the financial gain isn't there to make it all worth it as far as the work is concerned. But like, so after last year, it was like such a mad dash, and the posters didn't do as well as I was hoping they were going to do. And I was like, I don't know, I'm just kind of burnt out. Like, I wasn't feeling it. And then this year, it's like you started talking to me as if like, well, you're obviously going to be there. And I hadn't even like really decided. And I was like, oh yeah, I am like right down the street now. It's not like I've got to load up and drive.
You're in town.
I am.
Like, you live closer to the pavilion than I do.
I know. So it's you've been a motivation. First of all, I appreciate everything that like, you like wanting to give me a good spot in the pavilion. I mean, all that, like, not that I wouldn't do it otherwise, but I've been teetering on like the fence, being like, I don't know, is this worth it? Is it not? And then you're like, not knowing that that's how I've been feeling. You like called me like, hey dude, like we laid out vendors. I got this sweet spot. I want to put you like right here. And I'm like, oh man, that's actually awesome. Like, yeah, no, this is good. Like this. So then I get like all jazzed up about.
It's funny. You think I don't know. I know you. I know how you are. Yeah. You get like overwhelmed and all that. And I'm like, nah, dude, you're good. This is what we're going to do. And it's going to be great. I'll see you there.
Well, I appreciate it. I need that.
Of course, man. I mean, it's the whole point. Like, it's
for sure
fun. I mean, the whole point isn't to vend at a show and make money or whatever. The whole point is to have fun and like do stuff that you enjoy doing. And we've been doing this for a long time.
Yeah.
And like, it's a ton of fun whenever we can just like turn my phone off. All right, let's get it. You know, like sling shirts and talk to people and walk around and see cars. And if you get to walk around, cool. And, you know, and like, that's so much fun. And
I complain about that sometimes. Like, oh, I was anchored at the booth all day. But the experiences of talking and hanging out with everybody at the booth is an amazing experience.
So much fun.
Yeah, it really is.
I do not hang out at the Riverside booth. I can't. I physically can't.
Well, it's your show. You gotta, you've got work to do.
I got to be everywhere. But when I've been at other shows, like I love that. I love doing it.
Tuner Evo was fun. We were booth buddies. We were next to each other, and that was a lot of fun.
It was a blast because it's so like really when you get down to it. I mean, like as long you got it packed up and you got like a plan, like you're done. You know? You just show up and you're there.
Yeah.
So I mean, like it's cool. And then if you got like the right team, the right crew, you know, I mean, like you need staff, you need like people working your booth, so that you can like do more.
Yeah, I mean, and that's like that's key for sure. Yeah. I mean, the first time I ever vended, I was at Eurotripper, and I vended alone. Like Michael Crawford from Clean Freaks from Ireland was there at the show with us, and he watched my booth.
That was the first time you ever vended?
That's the first time I ever vended.
Yeah, like at a show.
Yeah. So basically, I ordered.
I remember that. I wasn't there, but I remember like you like
Nick Pro's Mercedes wagon was at my booth. Yeah. So that was. I didn't have any tent set up, any nothing. I'd always wanted to, but I didn't have a single setup. And Paul Barney puts the show on. Was that motivational factor? Like, hey, I'd love to have you come down. I think I'd gone to the Eurotripper the year prior, and maybe even 2 prior. And he said, hey, I really want the Governors Club to be a part of the show. And this was, I mean, I'm so grateful for this because I mean, he saw something in it that I didn't. But he said, you know, I really want the Governors Club to be at the show. I said, that's awesome, but like I don't have a setup, and to be honest, I don't have the money to like invest in a setup. And he goes, well, check the prices out from the company I buy all my tents from. So I did, and it was like pretty affordable. You know, for like $1,500, I could get into like a full flags tent, like all that stuff. So man, I guess. So I had everything drop shipped from the supplier or from the manufacturer right to Paul's house. And I flew down with like every bit of gear that I could fit into a couple, you know, checked bags and vended there. And I hadn't even seen any of my setup. I set it all up for the first time and just kind of winged it. But I was there literally alone. So like Mike from Clean Freaks, like watched the booth for me while I ran to get food and go to the bathroom. And so that was like a rat race. But since then it's been great having at least someone there to like help, which has been awesome.
Yeah. But well, you know, like Kayla's going to want to do it. She likes
last year. She was a huge help. Yeah. And 2 or 3 times that I've vended before that, like Corey would be on the road with me.
Yeah, exactly.
So
all
between
right, Corey, load up. Come on, bro.
He's coming.
Yeah.
He's coming.
I'm putting you to work at his booth.
Yeah. So if you see a registration come in from him and his girlfriend, just ex-nay that so he can work at my booth.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, so actually, before I forget, since we're talking about Riverside, let me bring up a question because I know there was one about Riverside, so we can stay in that vein.
So what he's referring to is a Q&A that you did. You never said anything.
Yeah, when I opened it up, Oh,
okay. Gotcha. You had a spiel. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, I don't have a spiel. I would have no idea what I'm doing. So basically, if you're on the Patreon, I put out a questionnaire, not a questionnaire, but a Q&A for this episode. So I basically, if you're on the Patreon, you saw I posted that Mason was going to be on today's episode, and you guys brought in a few questions. And if you want to, I mean, basically the Patreon link is in the video's description as well as the episode's description on whatever platform you're streaming this from. If you want to help out and support the shop, support the YouTube channel, support all that stuff, it's unbelievably appreciated. I mean, you guys support it means the world to me. But it's a small group of you guys. I appreciate all of you. I got a couple questions in that I thought were really intuitive. So basically on the Riverside vein of conversation, Max Feder asked, Mason, how hard was it to start up your car show and what were some obstacles you faced? So maybe even some of the obstacles you face now might be the same as when you started, but what stands out to you? Like how difficult was it to actually start Riverside?
To answer that, it wasn't as difficult as I expected it to be, but it's because I put a lot of prep work into it. I didn't just like, I'm doing a car show next year and and then like roll the dice. You know what I mean? Like it was years of thought and like kind of building an idea in my head and talking about it with some friends and stuff, but not really doing much with it. And then I had a couple conversations with some other friends and some people in the industry, like future vendors, things like that.
Yeah.
And was like, maybe this could be something. And then, so I was putting it on paper for a bit for myself, just notes. And then, and a big part of it was I wanted to make sure I had like a solid location, like aesthetically pleasing, like it looks cool, it feels good. Like, I don't know. That was one of the most important things to me. It's like, I knew, already knew about at the time it was called the First Tennessee Pavilion, now First Horizon Pavilion.
You struck gold. Stadium. You struck gold with that too, by the way, because I mean,
it's an event venue though.
Yeah.
So it's like not hard.
Right.
I mean, it was, a couple emails and we got information and we're like, okay.
Yeah.
But that was scary. So, I mean, a lot of it was, as to try to stay on track. After several years of thought and notes, I came up with an idea. I had a location in mind, not knowing what it was going to cost or if it was even a possibility.
Right.
Not knowing what it would take. But I had like a vision. I was like, I could see cars here. I could see vendors here. I could walk through it.
Yeah.
And I know how I would do it at least the first time. But year one, if I was going to do it, was going to be well. Like I was going to do it well, so that I wanted to build every year and progress every single year. But I wanted to start off strong. Like I wanted year one to have a heavy hitter list of vendors and like big names. I mean, we had BC Racing, BC Forged. We had Simply Clean. We had a number of big names on year one's vendor list. And I wanted good quality stuff. And
you want some more water?
Maybe a little bit.
All right.
But it was just sliding off the coaster. But all of that was like kind of working out. And just because of I wasn't rushing it and I was just having the right conversations at the right time with the right people and making sure that I was like, well, if I do set it up, but I'm not trying to waste anybody's time or whatever, but like I might do this. And then, I sat down with a good friend of mine, Matt Scudleric, and was like, listen, if I'm going to do this, I need a partner that can help me with like the back side of it, like the logistical side, like closing streets, pulling permits, alcohol permits. How do you rent an event stadium or an event location? Like how do you the professional part of it? I was like, I need someone to help me with that.
Right.
And he's, at the time he was, nicknamed like Mayor of Chattanooga because he just knows everybody and has owned many businesses in Chattanooga and very successful person in that kind of stuff and was able to like, I don't know. It's just great. Like I'd have a conversation with him and then he'd send a few emails or a couple text messages and be like, all right, well, this is done and this person's going to meet us here and this street's closed or whatever, and that was, I mean, without that, it never would have happened. I don't know. It wouldn't have happened the way it did, but no, I mean but
prep work,
prep work.
Like,
it really took a lot of prep work. I mean, that's what it was so that I knew that year one, I wasn't like going into it blind.
Yep.
And, cause this stuff's important to me.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure that it's like, it plays a good role in other people's lives. So I didn't want to just like create something that's not worth doing, I guess.
Yeah.
Not trying to be like real introspective. I just really like this. So I want to make sure that it's, leaves a good legacy, I guess.
I'm cut from the same cloth. I totally understand that. Yeah. I mean, I've spent nights toiling over if I did a show, what it would consist of for years. I still haven't done one. So it's like, I totally get that. You can't just wing it. You would have thrown it all at the wall and nothing would have stuck.
Yeah. And with all that being said, like I'm kind of naturally like a gatherer of people person. Mm-hmm. And like with our friend group, that's kind of big, but like also kind of active and social and stuff. Like, you know, especially Carly, my wife now. I mean, she's 100% the ringleader of everybody. But before her, she and I met, I was the kind of the one that was like, hey, y'all, let's go to the show together, or like, let's plan something together, or like let's do our weekly, you know, taco nights and we hang out and stuff and play pool or whatever it is. Yeah. But I wanted to gather people. I love that. I love getting people together and creating memories and experiences with.
I mean, and you've done just that, man. I mean, the show's become. I've said it ad nauseum. You know, like I made a 20-hour drive down each way, but you know, with a car and with a boot set
trailer
up to be. Yeah, I mean, and to go back on
old trucks.
Yeah, old trucks. To go back on a venue that's aesthetically pleasing. That pavilion is. The fact that you have access to a pavilion like that, where it is in relation to where you live, you know, it's like it's your home turf, and the fact that it's a fluid venue space that's like upkept, and it's not like this old warehouse that you want to go have a show in, and then fire marshal has to go in, everyone's got to like inspect it, and
that would be a nightmare. Like, yeah,
but photos, if you've ever seen a photo from Riverside, it's like, where is this place? It's that pavilion. It's got that awesome old industrial feel to it. I mean, you struck gold with it. You really did.
Yeah, I mean, the sizing's great. Like the surrounding parking lot, because I don't want it to be a big, like a
mega event.
Yeah, I don't want a ton of cars or a ton of event. Like I want the size it is great. But I want, you know, I want it to grow in other ways. But yeah, I mean, it's a 50,000 square foot open air pavilion that looks good.
Yep.
And every parking spot outside looks good. And we're introducing a couple of new things this year that are going to make it look even better.
Yeah, I'm excited.
So, I mean, we did strike gold. But yeah, I mean, with that experience now, I'm not afraid to like kind of hop in the deep end and like create other events or like other things doing, I don't know, at like you said, like an abandoned place or something that's not an event venue.
Yeah.
Now that I have some years under my belt and I can figure that out. But yeah, day one, I don't know, but without it all kind of lined up. I made those things line up.
Right.
But,
exactly.
But I mean, you know, it worked out.
Yep. One other question Max had was, looks like a question for me, but I'll keep it quick. I'm looking around for a diesel tow rig and wanted to get your opinion on the best one. 7.3, 6.5, 5.9. So 7.3, ID or Power Stroke. So that's International's motor that Ford used. The 6.5 is the Detroit motor that Chevrolet used in the mid 90s in the GMT 400s. And the 5.9 is the 12 valve Cummins. And I think 5.9 was
12 valve.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, I guess it depends.
So on reliability, the 6.5 Detroit goes to the bottom of the list. So
100%.
Chevrolet had more issues with the 6.5 diesel than Ford did with the 7.3 and then Dodge had with the 12 valve.
Yeah.
So 5.9, I think, takes it. The 7.3 is...
We'll put the 5.9 in Ford, probably.
A Fummins is always a good call.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd be lying if I said I hadn't thought about 12 valve swapping my OBS. But the 7.3 motor is also known as a million-mile motor.
Your OBS is fine.
Yeah, very true.
You know what I mean? Like, your white one with a 5.9 in it would have been cool.
Yeah. Yeah, the 5.9s with a little bit of work done to them.
Yeah.
Can, like, a stock early 12 valve, like a Gen 1 12 valve with like a P pump or something on it, is a little underpowered with like the factory hull set or whatever turbo comes on that thing, in comparison to a V8 with a turbo on it. Now, 7.3, I'd say go Power Stroke. So go late 93 and up for the 7.3s. I've had the IDI and that dually I had no turbo, and it was just awful on the highway as far as speed goes. 5.9, I think anything. The problem is like the 5.9, what they put around that motor for a truck rotted away before the motor ever had any issues.
Yeah. Where's he located?
I don't remember. If you can get a southern, western, rust-free, you're good to go.
Yeah.
Jimmy Smith, who's the first Patreon. I say this all the time. He was the first one to sign up to the Patreon. So
shout out.
I met him at Roll Hard in England. He came up to me and introduced me as the first Patreon. So shout out to Jimmy. But Jimmy says, Would love to make it over for Riverside one year. It looks amazing. So this is a really cool set of questions. He asked me a question and you a question, and they're the same question. So he says, Mason, what's your favorite car John has built over the years?
Oh.
And then he said, John, what's your favorite car Mason has built over the years?
Ooh.
So, yeah.
I don't think John knows all the cars I've put together.
I know most of them.
Yeah.
I already know my answer because I've thought about it. But I mean, how many have I put together that you can remember?
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like I keep hitting the mic. Hopefully, it's not making noises.
No, you're fine.
I feel like I've kept up with your stuff for many. I mean, before we knew each other. I mean, I knew who you were. I followed your stuff.
That's kind of weird.
And we knew a lot of the same people. And
yeah. Anyone that stands out?
Well, you go first. I'll need to think about it.
So, to you, this might sound like a boring answer because it is while we've known each other, but Jay-Z swapping the Sport Cross with a manual in it, and I got a chance to drive that car, and I love Jay-Z motors, but to back up, I like the SSR version of the wagon.
Oh yeah,
as well.
Which color?
Blue.
Blue. Okay.
Blue. Well, I mean,
it was blue on the SSRs, and then it was black.
So I liked it blue because I mean that's when you had it like real freaking low.
Well, it was on coilovers and I guess because I had bagged it when I first bought the car. It was silver, and I wrapped it blue.
Yep.
I had the car for 6 years, and I had like 30 sets of wheels on it.
Yes.
So you're talking about the SSR SP1Rs.
Yeah. So
the 17s.
But I think the black with the BCs was
like the last set of wheels. When the wheels, the mesh wheels I sold.
I really liked the way you had the car in its last rendition.
Yeah, I mean because it was like together. You know what I mean? And
the swap was done.
Yeah,
and
it had gotten to a point where like it needed to do. It had reached a good level where it was. Yeah. But to go any deeper, it needed like a full tear the whole car apart and build the car.
Yeah. I think that's my favorite. I mean, yeah. I mean, I thought about it last night when the questions came in, and I just liked everything you did with the car because it'd be stuff that I would like to do to that car. Like you had it basically the way I'd always wanted a sport cross. It
was a fun car. I mean, I love ISs. I love sport crosses.
Yeah.
I like I knew I wanted a 1J car, or I wanted a 1J sport cross that was manual because the U.S. market didn't get those in a manual.
Right.
And it worked out. It was cool. Like all the, I don't know. I mean, it was still simple. I mean, I've never done like a real in-depth, like I've never like built a car. Yeah. So I've just always done like pretty simple stuff. But but I've just been doing it for a long time. Mm-hmm. But that car was my most in-depth vehicle I've ever had. And I loved that car. I miss that car. I tried to get that car back. But the kid who has it now, he's good. Dakota, he's a good guy, and he's doing some really cool stuff to it.
That's awesome.
It was at Riverside 7.
Yep.
Right after I'd sold it to him.
Yep.
And he's planning on bringing it back to Riverside 8, I believe.
Nice.
But it's in Tennessee. It's a few hours away, but it's in Tennessee. Yeah, I miss that car. I like that car. I'll have another one day. I'd like to have another sedan IS one day.
Yeah, I like the sedans. Teslas are one of my favorite cars.
Yeah. Well, now that they're about to be like legal to import would be pretty cool.
Yep.
But I don't know. That one's probably my favorite car I've had.
Yeah.
I like my E36 a lot, but it was such a quick throw together, but it scratched that itch of like I wanted to build like an E36 that I could have built in like 2012. Yeah. But I didn't have like the funds or the access or whatever.
Yeah.
And that was like the car for me. And I Recaros, Ozy Futuras, good coilovers. It's real clean. Yeah. And I mean like boom. Just
right hand drive made it like
it is
really
right hand
cool.
drive. Yeah. But that's cool. But even if it was left hand drive, like that's kind of the when I had like my cars are always encompassed in the if I had funds and from 2009 to 2013,
exactly,
this is what I would do.
Yes,
and
it's funny we've both had right-hand drive BMWs.
Yeah,
from different parts of the world.
Oh yeah,
so like mine was a UK market, German made.
Mine was a Japanese market.
Yes,
German made.
Yeah, pretty funny.
That's cool. Yeah.
Speaking of cars we miss.
Yeah. and I need to sell mine.
Yeah, for sale.
I mean,
by the way.
it is. Well, yeah, it will be again. But so I got to answer that question.
There's been a few.
I got to remember them all.
Yeah, there's been a few.
There's been so many.
There's been a lot that I feel have just been in and out ones as well. Like itch scratches, you know.
So knee jerk reaction, E23. My favorite car you've ever had.
Yeah, the second one. Yeah, the one I kind of dove into.
Yeah. That's like the first one that we met and like in person or whatever.
Yep.
And like hung out, and I got to hear like your whole like nerd out over it for a few hours, and I loved that.
Yeah.
And it was just a really cool, impressive car, and I enjoyed that.
I think it's one of my favorite projects, builds, you know.
Yeah.
And still to this day can't believe that PBMW, Fast Car, and S3 Magazine all featured that car. I can't, like, honestly, it blows my mind.
Yeah.
It was sitting in the woods behind a barn in Vermont.
Yeah. That one or the Fintail from like whatever year, 2012 or
okay.
2013.
That's the first car I ever bagged. So that holds a special place.
It was like in the camera or something, wasn't that?
The air ride controls.
Yeah. So I remember seeing coverage of that car, like at first class.
Yeah.
And like you and I think like Buddy said, like kind of dressed up to like, like we didn't know each other, but I remember seeing that.
Oh yeah. I was like shirt, tie, skinny black tie. I had a mustache. Like, oh yeah, Ray-Bans.
Yeah. And I was like, that was cool. Cause like I didn't know people that did that. Yeah. Like I liked that.
I'm glad you liked that. Cause
I remember seeing photos of like your air ride setup, like in the camera body.
In a 1942 Argus 35 millimeter camera. Yeah.
That's so sick.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
So I had never bagged a car. I was like Static Warrior, you know, like the Volkswagen, like all those cars were like belly dragger cars. But I'd never seen a bagged Fintail. Not that I was the first one. There was one that sat in the parking lot of Airlift in Lansing, Michigan, like a flat black one that I'd seen. I had seen like 2 photos of on Google. I couldn't find any other photos of a bagged Fintail anywhere on Google. Bagged Fintail, bagged W111, bagged slammed this, slammed that. Could not find any photos of any. And if there had been any others done, they just like weren't on the internet. So I'd seen photos of, it was a W110. So it was a single headlight, cheaper Fintail, like at Airlift basically. And it was just matte black and it didn't really look that nice. So I'd always wanted to bag one. I'd had a couple W108s before I bought the Fintail. Got the Fintail and built my first airbag setup with it. Had always wanted to put the management in an old wooden chest in like a trunk.
Yeah.
So I did that and put that in the trunk. So when you opened the boot, it was like luggage, you know, it looked like an old wooden trunk luggage. And I always wanted to put air ride controls in a period correct or older camera. So that scratched all 3 of those itches. I wanted to bag an old Mercedes. I wanted to bag a car in general anyway. And I wanted those other 2 setups. So, that car, although simply bags, not even bags and wheels, that car like holds a special place in my heart too. With all the cars, even as we speak with the auto union and pieces downstairs, almost having to like design a car inside of a car. Basically, I still revere the Fintail as like one of my like most challenging projects. I'd never run air plumbing or management system or built air, suspension cups for airbags and stuff. And my dad helped me a lot on that. We did the drivetrain swap in that car. So that was a Hydrac 4-speed on the column with no foot clutch. Huh. And then I ended up buying another Fintail of the same year with a 4 in the column with a hydraulic foot clutch. So I bought that for reliability. So we did a full drivetrain swap right down to the rear end.
That's cool.
And so that was a fun car. Yeah, it was a fun car. Yeah. I'll take those 2 answers. I like that.
Yeah.
And then the last question, which is pretty quick. It's kind of a question for both of us. Simon's from Europe. He said, I'm planning on doing a cross-country trip in a classic Mercedes wagon from June to mid-August. So it sounds like he's like doing this.
Which country?
Simon, where are you
said
from?
cross-country, so is that
here in America.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, forgive me, Simon. I don't remember where. I think it's the Netherlands.
Well, that's what I meant. Like
You
said he's from Europe.
But since
like,
I started answering, I needed to like try to answer. So I think he's coming to America to do a cross-country trip in a classic Mercedes wagon from June to mid-August.
Does he have the classic Mercedes wagon?
Sounds like it. He says, any meets, museums, or just general car guy stuff you guys can recommend. I'm most likely going to take a route along the south. Looking forward to the podcast. A southern route, you got to hit Cadillac Ranch in Amarillo, Texas, and Palm Springs, California. Head down through Texas. Hit Chattanooga.
Yeah, come to town.
June to August, unfortunately, Riverside isn't going on.
It's going to be hot.
It's going to be hot.
It's very humid, yeah.
Super hot.
Yeah. I mean, come to Chattanooga. I mean, we got a cool town. It's on
I mean,
the river
he
and...
said he wanted to check out the shop and check out Chattanooga.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that's my answer.
Yeah, hit us up.
Hit Chattanooga up. And there's plenty of museums and car stuff along the southern routes. I mean, there's so much car stuff you can find
so
online.
much, like...
It's insane.
Especially, like, motorsports history.
Oh, yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah, especially even once you get this far east, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, dude, we've done a little over an hour. I know we both have a ton of stuff to get to. That's it for the questions. If you guys are interested in submitting any questions to the podcast, definitely hit up the Patreon. I try to do a lot of behind the scenes stuff there. Discount codes on merch, Patreon exclusive podcast. I'm doing one a month on the Patreon there, exclusive. And yeah, so appreciate you guys' support. So check out the links in the descriptions below for getting involved in that. Any other plugs? Riverside Chattanooga on Instagram.
Yeah, Riverside Chattanooga on Instagram, Facebook, riversidechattanooga.com.
Mason Gavin on Instagram.
Yeah, pretty simple. Yeah, the show's Riverside 8's April 15th, 2023. Vehicle registration is going to be open until probably mid-March or so.
It's January 17th as we're recording this, so plenty of time.
Yeah. Vendor registration's closing any day, but yeah, come check it out.
Yeah.
It's a free show. So,
yeah. So notable is free show for spectators, but more notable is it's a curated show that you select out of all, you got to register your car, you select it. So it's a curated show. So it's like good, like the cars that are at the show are cars that you specifically viewed and let into the show, but there's no awards. It's not a show. It's not a show in that right. I should say.
Yeah. No,
it's not a competition.
Yeah. It's a, we call it a spring meet, but it's a curated event. It's an automotive event, but we don't do trophies or awards. It's just a gathering of people and some cool cars that have been selected by a full panel of staff. I mean, like John's seen it firsthand. We have sometimes 20 to 30 people going over registrations together. And
sat in, what was it, yesterday? A couple of days ago?
Sunday,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that was kind of a light day. We had 15 people or so, 12 people.
Yeah.
But we take it seriously, and it's, it's not all about like high quality stuff. It's about just like, how does this car make you feel? Like, does it have like the it factor or whatever? It's not about just parts. It's, like the whole kind of theme. Yeah. Does it fit the I don't know, this pass the vibe check or whatever.
Right.
But
for sure.
And it all plays, plays a factor in that.
So even as a spectator, it's worth coming because it's like nice stuff. I mean, as with any show that's like registration or curated show, whatever you want to call it, the spectator lot is always a car show.
Oh yeah.
Always a car show.
Oh yeah. And in 2022, Riverside 7, I made it a point to be able to like try to see as many spectator cars as I could.
Yeah.
Because I've never been able to make it out to there.
Right.
And so me and another staff guy, we walked several blocks kind of surrounding the pavilion in the stadium.
Yeah.
And went through. We have two like actual like spectator parking lots, but they fill up so fast.
Right.
And then there's a ton of street parking, and then there's several blocks of street parking, and there's a bunch of parking lots nearby and everything. But I mean, it was like 2-3 p.m. The show had been going on for 4 hours.
Yeah.
Basically, and there's like traffic and like people still trying to park places, and streets are overflowing.
Yeah.
And people just making like parking spots wherever they can find them. And
Yeah.
we saw so many like cool cars, and like basically pop-up meets happening everywhere. Like that was so sick to see.
Yeah.
Like the whole thing is an event.
Yep.
I loved that, man. It was
awesome.
It was neat. It was neat to be able to watch it. It's like, I don't want to say like tailgating, but I guess it's kind of like that. Like being able to walk through those parking lots and it's its own environment. and you know, it didn't nothing fit like. I don't know. It just didn't feel out of place. It felt great.
Yeah.
It was cool to see. So
yeah, we should talk about Ludwig's Garage Meet at some point that weekend. I think I've talked to you about this already, but I think I'm going to do like a light open house here at the shop too.
Yeah.
That weekend. I was talking to Zach from Bag Riders about that because Bag Riders is coming down. And
I talked to him today.
Yeah. And I told him, I said, you know, I haven't done it since I moved here. You and I have talked about this recently in the last week or so. And I really want to have like an open house here at the shop. Have the bay doors open. The auto union's like starting to look like a car a little bit. You know, like have that in the shop. Have the other cars. Have some friends bring some cars to park out in front of the shop. There's ample parking in like the grass up the driveway kind of thing. And maybe Riverside weekend would be the time to do that. Not sure yet if I'm gonna make it a public thing or have like all of our boys that we know that are in town to kind of keep from overwhelming the whole neighborhood. But but I kind of want to do something like that. But I would like to do like a Ludwig's Garage, like meet somewhere at some point.
Well, and like what we did at 7 last year, we did, I had a lot of fun with this because I really wanted to do this. And one of my biggest goals, kind of like a throwback to like cruising the strip in Ocean City, was like going to all the pop-up meets. And I loved that like throughout the week. But at Riverside 7, I hosted a small E36 meet in like the art district.
Yeah, near
Hunter Museum and
the coffee shop.
The coffee shop. I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that I can't remember.
Rembrandt.
Yeah,
Rembrandt Coffee.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
that's a cool area.
It is. It's a cool area. It looked cool and the weather was perfect. We had fun. We probably had like 20 people, 25 people and like 15 cars. It was super cool.
Yeah.
But it was like middle of the day, Thursday for an hour or two. And then we all cruised together over to the 90s meet that was hosted by Obsess, one of our vendors for the show.
Yep.
And there were probably 100 people there, and it was so much fun. And then after that was over, we cruised over to on the other side of the river to the LEP Automotive meet underneath the bridge.
Yeah,
had a fun time with that. That was super cool. The sun set. It was a beautiful location. And then there were the next day, Carly did a wagon meet downtown.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, then we had our pre-meet, and then all kind. I love that, and I want there to be things on like. You know, like I want an early bird special on Wednesday. You know what I mean? Like somebody do something in town, or a couple of people do something in town, or brands or whatever.
Yeah.
And like and put some stuff on Thursday. I think you should do like a Ludwig's Garage like Thursday thing.
Yeah, we did a Governor's Club one Thursday at the Daily Ration, 2020. When I had the Century, and you had your Sport Cross there.
That was so much fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
We had a blast with that. We didn't have anywhere the amount of people that we kind of expected to show up.
Yeah,
but it was still like so much fun because we had a great amount of cars were there.
Yeah,
it filled up the lot well.
Yeah,
and like Daily Ration was super cool, and they had like they opened up for us because they aren't normally open.
Right,
and they had like, a good food menu, and we all got to hang out there, and the environment's really cool. And I mean, we need to do that again, either there or another place like that.
And now that I live here, like, and I'm eating out everywhere, like I'm all over the place. Like I really should like tap into like the resources like that I've made while here to possibly have like a good look, because I live here on the North Shore. So there's like so much. Like before I moved here, I ended up at the Dunkin' Donuts on Signal Mountain Road, where I just knew it was near your house, and that's where I was staying with you guys. And I went by the Zaxby's right there, and there was like 20 kids all parked up there. And I'm like, oh, there's like a random meet here. So there's that meet off of Hickson Pike near Hickson, and like, so I'd like to kind of scope around and try to find like a really cool spot to have, like maybe perhaps a Thursday meet, preferably somewhere with food.
And like 7-Eleven, they do like car meet stuff now.
Is there a 7-Eleven here?
They're building 2 brand new ones that are opening any day.
Wow.
One's on 153 in Hickson.
Yeah, that's right.
And then one's on Amnicola.
Yeah.
Like past like Quick Everett's. Like coming closer towards the Amnicola.
Yep.
Or on Amnicola towards 153.
Yep.
And they're both big ones. Like I want to do stuff there.
Yeah, a night meet there would be awesome.
Heck yeah. So
literally, Matt Waln, DeHate. So it's basically Matt's truck, DeHate's Beetle, my Corvair, and I think 2 other people. It was literally like 4 or 5 of us parked up at the 7-Eleven on A1A in Daytona till like midnight.
Yeah.
Like there's just like, we're the only ones in the parking lot. And
That's
like,
cool.
even that is awesome.
It's just fun. It's just so much fun to hang out in a parking lot, especially late at night.
So Ludwig's Garage Meet, TBA,
Yeah.
TBD,
Yeah.
TDB.
2DB. Yeah.
That was an Office reference.
Yeah.
TDB. That was a Michael Scott Office reference. Figured you'd pick up on that one.
Yeah.
Office nerd.
Oh, I watched The Office.
So yeah, so we'll get something going for Ludwig's Garage Meet. You and I will talk about that. Riverside 8 coming up April 15th.
Yep.
Get on it. Taco night tonight.
Yeah.
What time?
I don't know.
7 usually?
Yeah. 6:37.
Where? Anyone that's hearing this isn't going to make it in time.
Yeah. Sorry, y'all.
But we're going to get some tacos.
Yeah, we're going to go get some tacos.
Get some tacos.
Buddies.
All right. Well, we can get a little bit of work done at this point before then. So thanks for doing this, dude.
Yeah, this is fun.
We got to do it more often.
Yeah.
You live like 5 minutes away from me. 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's like 20, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it feels like 10.
It's the same town.
We got, dude, I can, with you nearby, there's no reason for me to do solo podcasts anymore. So
Just hit me up.
I'll hit you up, dude. Well, thanks for doing this.
You can do one with Evie.
I mean, it'd be like a 1.5 person podcast.
It'll be about 45 seconds.
Yeah, till she's asleep.
And she'll be, yeah, well, she'll just get up and walk away.
Oh, very true. Yeah. Like, yeah, what's this?
Or she'll look around. She'll like lightly touch stuff. This is my 21-month-old daughter.
Yeah, yeah.
And then she'll just like,
Okay, I'm done.
yeah.
What else?
Like, all right, cool lights. Bye.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for listening. Ludwig's Garage on Instagram, john.ludwig. Yeah, that's it. Sweatshirts are on the way. I got to plug that. I keep forgetting. I haven't plugged it too much on YouTube yet either. Hoodies are on the way. New designs, new colorway. Excited about that. Small run first. I hope they go fast. I'll promote everything on YouTube and Instagram once they're in hand. They'll be on ludwigsgarage.com. There's a link to the web store in the description of this episode as well as the discount code for bagriders.com. It's almost tax season. Bagriders.com. Use code LUDWICK'S, LUDWICK'S at checkout to save on everything store-wide. Before it was just select products. Now it's everything. So you got no excuse. Use code LUDWICK'S at Bagriders. Get you some. It's Riverside coming up. Let's get some tacos.
Yep.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
You didn't have to break the pee. Are you dying?
Oh, yeah, I got to pee.
Oh, you should have told me.
No, I mean, I'm not dying.
All right.